What's the elephant in the room that might be blocking you, that you completely have 100% the opportunity and the choice to remove it? I've got 3 questions for you this week that I think will really, really help you eliminate kind of what's preventing you from moving forward. Because when we eliminate what's preventing us, when we really name it and choose to see it, then the way forward is always there for us. So I've got 3 questions. And before I go into the questions, I just want to say that oftentimes there is kind of this elephant in the room that it's like the one thing. And I find when working with clients, and for sure in my own life, that I will normally optimize and look at all the other things in my life and say, okay, I've done this, I've done that, I'm doing all these things. And it's like the one thing that I'm like, oh, but I don't want to do that. Like maybe it's the relationship, maybe it's the job. It's usually a big thing that we feel like we're having to eat the whole elephant instead of just taking one bite at a time. And I find that this is usually the biggest blocker for what we want, especially if we're trying to really generate either more money in our life, or we're trying to generate exponentially more fulfillment, or we're really trying to get out of this fight or flight, this stress mode. I call it hustle mode. I find that when we're really trying to get out of it, that we can do all the little things and those will create shifts. But generally, if a lot of our energy is tied up in this one thing that's truly giving us a lot of maybe not the right feedback that we need in order to have the courage and the trust to move forward, then that elephant in the room will be way more of a blocker than we might perceive it to be. And almost we just kind of like hide from it. And again, we pretend it's not there. But the pretending it's not there, for me, has generally cost me the ability to actually get where I want to go until I'm really, really ready to face it. So these 3 questions are aimed at truly telling yourself the truth. And I want to invite you to do this, not from a way of judgment, not from a way of saying like, I should have known, or whatever your story is around why you're not dealing with the elephant in the room. It doesn't really matter. The choice is still there to tell the truth and again, to take the next step forward. And sometimes the next step is a big leap. And sometimes it's just the choosing to see it differently. I find that there's a triangle that we often find in our lives, and it's the victim, victimizer, savior triangle, in which we're claiming a story in which we're the victim, or in which we're not acting in alignment to who we are and who we need to be with others. Like maybe we're not truly accepting that this job can't fulfill us and won't give us what we need, and yet we complain about the job, right? In some ways, we're not showing up in truthfulness, or we're trying to save someone or something. I hear a lot of people that I spoke to, and I know I've certainly done it, where we think that we're just so invaluable in this job, or people need us, or I've got to be here for this and that, and we try to say I can't do what I want because of all this. And when we're stuck in that triangle, perspective is oftentimes very difficult to have the correct perspective. Not that it's right or wrong, but the one that allows us the freedom of choice to move forward. The one that allows us to see that we're not actually stuck, that we're just maybe scared. And being scared and having fear is totally normal when we're making a new choice. So I just want to extend to you those 2 things. Try to refrain from the judgment. And 2, can you move out of that victim, victimizer, savior triangle? And know that you're playing all 3 of those roles, usually simultaneously in some aspect. Whether you can drop out of that. And when we realize that we are creators, and that this, whatever's happening to us in life, is to allow us the chance to make a new choice, the empowerment to make a new choice. And so when you can really recognize that and lean into that, then I have found 100% of the time, the next choice is there. So what are the 3 questions that will elicit your clarity that you need to move forward? The first is knowing exactly how you want to feel. Like, what is it that if you have the thing you want, right? If you're at the place you want, you've achieved it, how do you think you'll feel? What is it that you're going for? Because underneath anything that we want in life, whether it's a new job, a new relationship, to move, a bigger house, another car, a vacation, we think it's going to make us feel a certain way, and that is better than where we feel right now, or we wouldn't want it. So really being able to name, is it confidence? Is it security? Is it flow? Is it joy? Is it happiness? Is it feeling loved? Is it feeling supported? Name it, know it, feel it, so that you can know what it is that you want on a really emotional, energetic level. That's question number one, and that's so vital. Question number two, I call it my act as if question. And for this, what we want to know is, what are the things that I can do right now that are in front of me that give me those feelings now? What are the things that I can do, invest my time in, whether it's a person that you spend time with, whether it's an activity that you do, whether it's a step that you take that will start to move you in that direction. Start to identify, because I guarantee you right now, there are things that you can do that will start to get you there. And start to recognize, like, what are those things? And sometimes those things are to do with the elephant in the room. Like, I gotta start doing something to address the elephant in the room, because once we do that, we start to feel more empowered. And once we start to take ownership of our life, the universe steps in. Like, truly, life helps those who help themselves. But if we want to stay in that victim, like, oh, I don't have any choice, I can't do it, I don't have the money, I don't have the resources, I don't have the time, we're not asking for help. We're just asking for excuses, and we'll get plenty of them. So that step number two is the act as if. If you believed that you could have what you wanted, if you believed that it was simply right in front of you, what would you do differently? Like, recently, I was thinking about this in my own life, and I realized that, if I was truly this woman that I'm becoming, I would have a lot easier time saying no to the things that I don't want, to having much better boundaries, and really not tolerating things that I was moderately satisfied with. Like, I just remembered like how that would feel to be so confident, because I didn't need this thing that was being offered to me. And once I tapped into that energy of that woman who's like, I got this covered, like it's in the bag, like I already have it, then I realized it was really obvious for me to point out all the things that were not really in alignment. So the act as if really lets you embody that person that you're coming. Like, maybe it's an avatar you can embody, but it's really the act as if is, if you knew it could happen, what would you start doing now? And start doing it. That's question two. Question three is the hard one. It's the elephant in the room. Where are you in relationship to anything in your life that's causing the opposite feelings, that's blocking you, that's causing you to feel disempowered and stuck? Where are you in choice for that? Where are you saying yes where you need to say no? Where are you including something in your day and your life that need not be in there? This is like the truth-telling time. Like, where's the gap? You know where you want to go. You know the things that start to get you there. What starts to pull you back? And I find that 99% of the time, that's the elephant in the room. It's something that we're just not facing. And the minute we start to face it and we realize it's there, like I said, the pathway becomes more clear. We feel more empowered. The clarity returns. I find sometimes confusion is a way of kind of deluding ourselves into not making a step. And I find that in my life all the time, that I'm just so confused. I don't know what to do. And it's not true. I do know what to do. I just don't want to do it. And even that clarity and even that knowing that this is blocking is a new level of empowerment. I leave you with those questions. And I really hope that as you are thinking through, that you can really sit with your elephant in the room and learn from it. Instead of looking at this elephant in the room as being an obstacle or a block, it's a teacher. That's why I've always loved in yoga or in Hinduism, the Ganesha, the elephant god, because he is the remover of obstacles, but yet he teaches that the obstacle is our path. It is our ticket to enlightenment, to having light shed on the situation. And once we have the light and we see the truth, then we know how to move through it. The elephant in the room is really a teacher for you. It's actually your ticket to wisdom. And so I hope that this week, as you ask these questions and you'd really tell yourself the truth, you generate the awareness and the ability to learn and see the situation with greater perspective, that you feel a sense of the wind under your wings, a lightness in your step as you choose to move forward. I hope this video has been helpful. Like it. If it is, comment, ask questions. I love filming and creating content that will help you live your most fulfilling and your most joyful forward life. Thank you for listening and watching, and may you discern the most powerful clarity and wisdom from your elephant in the room when you answer these questions.